Something is going on at Xtreme Couture. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez just finished beating Roman Dolidze, and somewhere out there, JP Bays is smiling. If you know, you know. But that's already been 3 guys coming out of Xtreme Couture losing. Roman Dolidze, Daniel Zellhuberg, Dan Ige, and this year for Xtreme Couture hasn't been that good. A lot of their top name fighters have taken really bad L's and have not looked like the guys that came into the UFC, having fun fights, knocking out guys. They've mostly just looked like they're sparring out there. And when it comes into the third round, Eric Nixick is telling these guys, all right, let's turn it up. And it's kind of like, you're telling these guys to turn it up when they've been fighting like a technical sparring match for the first 2 rounds in the fight. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to break down every single fighter coming out of Xtreme Couture and their losses. First guy we're going to talk about is basically the main guy at Xtreme Couture. The guy himself, Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland had a 3-fight winning streak, bro. Beat Nasruddin Imavov, beat Abu Smagomedov, and Sean Strickland at that time, he was on the rise. He was beating guys. He actually looked like a fighter out there. He went out there. He beat Israel Adesanya. He looked good. We thought, yo, Sean Strickland, he's a champ. He's out here, striking guys. Obviously, it wasn't until Dracus du Plessis came on the scene, and that first fight against Dracus, it was, a tic-tac battle. It was a good fight. It was 50-50. It could have gone either way. But after that fight, I don't know what's going on. But against Paulo Costa, it was not an exciting fight. It looked like Sean Strickland was out there against Paulo Costa just throwing his teep, throwing his little jab, and just cruising his way into a decision. And after that, we all wanted him to at least fight Robert Whittaker. And he was like, no, I want my rematch against Dracus. I deserve it. Whatever. The UFC gives his rematch to Dracus because it was a close fight, the first one. And he put up a stinker. He did not look like how it looked like in the first fight against Dracus, or anything close to what he looked like against Israel Adesanya. And he basically just lost really bad against Dracus du Plessis. And now the man is suspended. After going into not an amateur, but like other promotion. One of his fighters was fighting, one of his training partners or whatever, and the other opponent flicked him off and whatever. He's suspended off some goofy shit. But the downfall of Sean Strickland has to come with this Xtreme Couture of like, they spar a little too much, and when they get into the octagon, when the fight is on, these guys just do not look like they're ready to fight. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to move on to the next fighter. We're going to talk about the guy who just lost. He just got his ass beat by Fluffy Hernandez. Let's be honest right now. He got his ass demolished. JP Bays, that man is smiling. That man popped the champagne bottle. He calling up Fluffy Hernandez like, yo, big dog, thank you so much, bro. Like, on that good stuff. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Roman Dolidze was having an affair with JP Bays' wife at the time, Cheyenne Bays. Obviously, they were married. If you don't know, now you know. But yeah, basically Cheyenne used to be a former UFC fighter herself. After, since the affair, she's moved to Georgia, and she's now raised 2 kids with Roman Dolidze. And they're probably getting married themselves, whatever. But Roman Dolidze was on a nice 3-fight win streak. Obviously, it's not a good 3-fight win streak. Anthony Lionheart Smith, he won by unanimous decision. I remember that was like a short notice fight right there, but he still won. That Kevin Holland fight, Kevin Holland got injured in the ribs, and then you had the Vettori fight. Coming into the Anthony Fluffy Hernandez fight, I knew Fluffy Hernandez was going to win because of his cardio. I knew that his grappling was gonna take over in this fight, and it did. But I knew Roman Dolidze was dog shit, but he just showed how bad he was in this fight against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. And Fluffy Hernandez, obviously, he had a game plan. You know, if he was not going to go into the guard of Roman Dolidze, he would just get up and, continue to demolish him, break him down, and eventually got the rear naked choke, dragged him across the cage. That looked so savage, so much aura coming from Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. But I don't know. Roman Dolidze was just not that good. So I want to give another example, but this is just another example of another fighter coming from Xtreme Couture that just doesn't look good. I don't know, man. We're gonna move on because Roman Dolidze is not a good example, but he's coming out of that, coming out of that gym, and he just looked so bad against Fluffy Hernandez. I had to point that out. Dan Ige. Dan Ige, he has not looked like the Dan Ige of before when he was knocking heads off, bro. When Dan Ige was literally about that 50K, when he was going out there putting up some bangers, knocking out guys left and right. His last 3 fights, he had, I don't want to say it was a stinker against Lerone Murphy because it was a close fight. But against Lerone Murphy, he went into decision with Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy, he's not bad of a fighter. I got him beating Pico. I don't know why there's so much hype with Aaron Pico. Like, yes, he has potential. Yes, he looks decent, but he has not fought the competition that Lerone Murphy has had. But this is not about Aaron Pico. This is about Dan Ige. And Dan Ige against Patricio Pitbull, my gosh, he did not look good at all in that fight. At all. He just did not look good at all. And it was surprising because against Sean Woodson, he went out there and knocked out Sean Woodson in the 3rd round and he looked pretty good. But against Patricio Pitbull, this man put up a stinker. He was going out there sparring with Patricio Pitbull, a guy who's like 38, almost 40 years old. And I expected Dan Ige to go out there and knock this man's head off. And instead, just gets, I don't even want to say out grappled, but man, I don't know. He just looked so bad against Patricio Pitbull. And again, another fighter coming out of the Xtreme Couture gym. But let's move on. Daniel Zellhuber. Dude was looking really good coming into the UFC. Had a couple good wins. Against some guys that were not really good in the UFC, but he did get a good win against Francisco Prado, even though Francisco Prado has not gotten a win in the UFC. But it was that Johnson fight. The difference between that Esteban Ribovic and that Michael Johnson fight, it's 2 completely different fighters. Esteban Ribovic and Daniel Zellhuber went to war. They gave us a fight of the night in that Sphere card. And I'm here thinking, damn, Daniel Zellhuber, man, he looks like a really good prospect out here. Yeah, he just lost to Ribovic. But going into this Johnson fight, I thought, man, I think he's going to beat Michael Johnson, dude. I think he's going to, he's going to kill Michael Johnson on the feet, bro. And instead, the man gets demolished by Unk. I'm here thinking, bro, how do you get mopped by Unk? I don't know what's going on, but in that fight, he just looked so patient. He looked too patient and throwing wheel kicks that I'm just like, brother, like, this is not just him, but in the UFC in general, a lot of these fighters are just throwing wheel kicks to create distance. Why don't you just throw a teep kick or just throw a jab and just back up, brother? I don't know why you're wasting your energy on throwing a wheel kick. But he was spamming those against Michael Johnson. He was literally sparring out there against Unk and not looking good in the first 2 rounds. And finally, in the 3rd round, Eric Nixick tells this guy, all right, it's time to go. You're telling him it's time to go when he's already down 2 rounds, when you should have been telling him, yo, it's time to put up a banger against Michael Johnson in the 1st round. I don't know what's going on in Xtreme Couture, but these guys are sparring way too much. And when they get out into this octagon, they're out here just sparring against an opponent that they need to win. and they're not looking good. They're not looking like how they were when they came into the UFC. And I don't know, bro. I don't know what's going on in Xtreme Couture. But we move on to another fighter who recently just got with Xtreme Couture and has not looked good ever since. Mansour Abdul Malik. Bro came into this contender series, Dana White's contender series, killing guys. I mean, he was mopping guys, knocking out guys. He knocks out Dusko Joskis, and I'm here like, brother, this guy could be legit. He could be legit. This guy's out here killing guys in the first couple rounds. His next fight against Nick Klein, that's when we knew something was up. Because I was here thinking, bro, Nick Klein is not that good. He should have finished Nick Klein in the first round. And the fact it took him to the second round to finish him, something was up. If you looked at Nick Klein's last fight, buddy got mopped, nasty. He got hit with a body kick. I forgot by who. But shout outs to that guy. He destroyed Nick Klein. But Abdul Malik, I don't know. He just made Nick Klein look a little bit too good in this fight. And I was here thinking, okay, maybe it's his second fight in the UFC. Maybe in his next fight, he kills him. He kills whoever. They give this man Cody Brundage. And I'm here thinking, oh, this guy's going to get a first round knockout, bro. The fact that he made this a close fight with Cody Brundage, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this isn't the same guy that we saw in his Contender Series fight and his UFC debut. This isn't the same guy. Because he went out there and Cody Brundage was actually hurting this man on the feet. And I'm here thinking, brother, what is going on? Like, I don't get what's going on with these fights. I don't know what was going on with Mansour Malik. But whatever. In that third round of that fight, they were swinging heavy. They both were landing, and a head clash happens. Cody Brundage, bro, I don't know what. It's always happened to him. He always gets this, like, something happens to in his fights. But head clash happens. He falls. So Malik goes, rains some ground and pound. Boom, they call it. They see it was a head clash. Instead of calling it a no contest, they just reward Abdul Malik with the win. But later on, the Georgia Commission ruled it a draw instead because of an incomplete round, since it was incomplete. And it just goes to show you, man, something is going on in the waters in Xtreme Couture, especially this year. I don't know what it is, but these guys are just, I think they're sparring too. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not into Xtreme Couture. I don't know no fighter, and I don't know nobody in Xtreme Couture that can give me the inside. But all I could just think is that these guys are sparring way too much, and when they get into that octagon, they have this feel like they're going to spar, and they go out there and put up a stinker. They don't look like the same fighter that they were before. I don't know. They just don't look like the killers that they were before training at Xtreme Couture or before coming into the UFC. I don't know what's going on. But this year for Xtreme Couture has been dog water. Strickland, 2025 Strickland just looks dog water. I'm here thinking, bro, what's happened to him? He's not the same, even though he's been the same. He just looks dog shit now. Roma Delitse was on a really good win streak, but he was not an elite fighter. We knew that. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez just showed this guy's not really that good. Dan Ige, just, I don't know, man. That Patricio Pitbull loss just has me looking great. I don't know. He just did not look good. And he, Dan Ige, I know Dan Ige is like a win-lose fighter, but that fight right there, he should have won. And I don't know what happened in there. Daniel Zellhuber, after the crazy war he had with Esteban Rivovic, goes out there and has a sparring match against Unk and loses. And now I'm here just thinking, bro, is he even a good fighter like that? I don't know, bro. I don't know. And then you got Abdul Malik just Abdul Malik just looking dog water in his fights now when he was out here killing guys coming into the UFC. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. What do you think is going on at Xtreme Couture? I don't know what's going on, but bro, Xtreme Couture was literally one of the best gyms before this year. And now, most of their fighters is coming off losses this year, and they're not looking too good. They're not looking too good. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm Gene Epps MMA. Like and subscribe, and I'm out.